Hello, welcome Year 7 to your first lesson on a new unit of work on the ancient Silk Road. Now, the Silk Road, you can see represented by this map, was a complex network of trade routes between different countries and regions in the world. You see there, it covered most of the known world 1,000 years ago. What I want you to do for the first activity of this lesson is I'd like you to study this map quite closely, familiarize yourself with it, and I want you to start listing all the regions or cities, those are the places that are labeled, as you can see there, that traded with each other. So, for example, Rome, which was at the heart of the Roman Empire, traded quite extensively with Egypt. Alexandria was the major city in Egypt at the time, about 2,000 years ago. I want you to do the same. Just think of all the other regions or cities that traded with each other according to this map. So pause this video, jot those down, and once you've finished, you can resume the video. Brilliant. So you should have jotted down a few different cities or regions that traded with each other. So you can see there Byzantium, which is the Eastern Roman Empire, trading with, you follow the lines all the way through, with Petra, with Ray in Iran, and then Ray in Iran would have traded with Samarkand and so forth. And generally, that's how this worked. Shorter distances were better for trade. So if you were a merchant from Byzantium, you would buy your goods in Persia. So you would pay a little bit more for it. That meant the merchants in Persia made a profit from the goods that they bought in Samarkand. And so that's how this trade network really worked. All right. So I want you to pause the video again, and I want you to write down the key term for this lesson, which is, of course, Silk Road, an ancient network of trade routes that connected the East with the West. Okay, brilliant. You should have done that by now. Now I want you to have a look at this other map. It gives you a bit more of a idea of what exactly was traded between all of these different regions and cities on the Silk Road. So I want you to imagine that you're a merchant from either China, India, Persia, or Europe, and I would like you to write down 4 products you would purchase from China, 4 products you would purchase from India, and 4 that you would purchase from whichever other one that you're not from. Okay. So if I was a merchant from Europe, I might buy Tyrian purple from Persia. So Tyrian purple was a special color, a dye that was used to dye garments as a very beautiful shade of purple. It was very, very expensive because it was difficult to make, and it was one of the most sought after materials in the ancient world. So you might want to go grab some Tyrian purple from Persia if you're feeling like you have a lot of money, and a few other items, and do the same for India and China. Okay, so just pause the video once you made a start on that. Okay, so this is now a modern interpretation you can see here on this painting. It's a painting showing what a Silk Road market would have looked like. You can see there it's bustling with activity. It's lively. You can almost hear the sounds, people quoting prices, holding cloth to themselves. So you can see here, inspecting the materials and goods that they want to buy. And this artist doesn't know exactly what it would have been like, but we have a lot of historical records which tell us what these markets were like at certain points in time. So it has some accuracy. All right. So now that you have a good idea of what the Silk Road was and what was traded on there, I'd like you just to have a read through of the PDF document that you will find in week 1, lesson 1 folder. Have a read through of this information, and then I'd like you in your books to answer these 5 questions in full sentences. So remember, this is a regular lesson, so you ought to have your date, your title, and everything written neatly in full sentences in your book, ready for when we come back. And when you finish, if you could just upload it to the assignments tab in your Teams page. All right, good luck.